Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this webinar on ARCHICAD and Twinmotion. Before we begin, let me make sure you can hear me, and let's go over some of the Zoom controls. At the bottom left of your screen, you should see audio settings. And if you click on it, you'll be able to adjust your speaker and microphone volume. You also notice at the top of your screen a View Options tab icon, where you can decide to enter or exit full screen. To post questions, please use the chat menu located at the bottom of the screen. This will allow everyone to see the questions. My name is Vincent, and I'm a BIM consultant for GRAPHISOFT. I will be presenting the first part of the webinar, and Marn, Twinmotion Product Manager, will be presenting the second part. During this webinar, you'll learn about some of the new features in ARCHICAD 22 and see how quickly you can visualize your projects with Twinmotion. This workflow will enable you to create and experience renderings, animations, 3D immersion, and virtual reality. It only takes 3 clicks to get from ARCHICAD to virtual reality. So you're going to have to install the Twinmotion add-on for ARCHICAD if you're going to want to synchronize your model efficiently. And in order to do that, you're going to have to launch the Twinmotion Product Manager application, and there you'll see the ARCHICAD icon for the add-on. If you click on it, you'll be able to download and install and check if it's up to date. Once it's installed, you'll see the Twinmotion menu up here where you can decide to show or hide the Twinmotion palette. I have mine docked right here, and you'll notice I have the synchronize icon here, the settings menu here, and a link to the community website. Twinmotion is already synchronized to have the setting optimized for the best performance. So you'll notice that it optimizes the materials and the objects. What that means is that if you have cars, people, or trees and vegetation, it's automatically going to transfer them to Twinmotion objects. And same thing for ARCHICAD services, it's going to look at the OpenGL engine and transfer those surfaces. If you want to send the BIM data, you have to select No Merge and check this checkbox right here. And this will allow you to see all the information that you've put into your elements. So basically this is an example of how the surfaces would transfer into Twinmotion without the automatic conversion. And if you use the conversion, you'll notice that metals and glass surfaces and other textures start to transfer to the correct ones. So it'll apply the right bump maps, transparency, and reflective material. In Twinmotion, there's a demo room, which is excellent to use when you want to create and visualize new materials, or if you just want to play around with Twinmotion and get a sense of what the tools do. In ARCHICAD 22, one of the new features is the new facade design tool, and basically it's the improved current wall tool, which allow you to design multiple current wall patterns, and you can do a lot of different building assemblies with it too. We also have a parametric profile editor improvement with modifiers, which allow you to change the dimension of skins or shapes depending on what you have drawn. And we also have expression defined property values, which allow you to put functions and mathematical properties so you can optimize your schedules. And we also have a lot of other features such as custom graphical labels, IFC import and export enhancement, updated Grasshopper connection, updated model view and attribute manager dialog menus, performance improvements, and many more small improvements. So let me show you a little bit of some of the new features. So here I have an example of a building with a current wall facade. And if I quickly want to see this in Twinmotion, it's fairly easy with just one click. I just have to go up to my menu and click the synchronize button. It's going to open Twinmotion, and it'll take a few seconds. And here I can select new project and click OK. You'll notice it was pretty quick, and now I can start visualizing this in Twinmotion pretty quickly. I have a menu on the right here where I can quickly see the statistics, or I can pull up the BIM information, so if you decided to do so. On the statistics here, you'll notice this is the frame per second rate at what your scene runs, and if your computer can handle the scene. And then there's some other performance indicators in the bottom here. So let's say I want to start modifying my scheme. I can go back to ARCHICAD and select my current wall. And you'll notice the menu looks a lot like the stair and railing menu. On the left you have a bunch of different options for your scheme, frame, panels, junction, accessories, current wall system, and you can make favorites for them. So you can quickly change and apply different options depending on what you want to do. So if I want to start modifying my pattern, I can quickly do so. I'm just going to start selecting a few panels here and apply a diagonal frame. And then I'm just going to select some of these horizontal frames and delete them. Same with these vertical, I can select them. And then if I want to select them all pretty quickly, I can select the icon here at the bottom. And then it selects all the vertical ones. And then I click delete them. And then if I click OK, after a few seconds, it's going to update. And there it is. Here's my hexagon pattern. Actually, let me go back to that, and I can actually just synchronize that with Twinmotion just to show you. It just takes a couple seconds to synchronize, and there it is. There's my new scheme. So it's fairly easy with just one click. So now I can go to a different example. So I have this diagonal pattern here, and you'll notice that in my settings I can visualize this and select all of these diagonal frames independently. But if I want to like start changing the pattern and make the diagonal members more prominent, I can do that pretty easily by selecting it here. And you'll notice in my frame settings at the bottom I have a frame intersection priority, so I can use the slider to move it up, and you'll notice it automatically updates in the preview, so I can visualize what's happening and stop when I'm satisfied where I want it to look. And if I want to start applying windows here, I can add a new window or panel class type. So I can click add. Then I go to my favorites because I've already created some. So you can quickly pick one that you've already made. And you click OK. So now I've loaded my new panel. So if I go to my scheme, I can go back and apply this in different locations. And then I can say OK. Here I can apply window and click OK. and then I'll have a brand new scheme. So I can quickly visualize this in Twinmotion by clicking synchronize. So since I'm in a different part of my model and I'm only seeing what's in 3D, when I'm just gonna remove this example and put the new one. So I can just spin around here, and you'll notice here's my my building. You can do a lot more with this current wall tool. You can do different kind of systems, such as these shading devices with frame only, and you can start doing all kinds of custom patterns. So here's a new pattern, a leafy sketch. So let's say I want to do this current wall as a shading device. I can do that, and I can go in my elevation, click my edit mode, then select my current wall frame types, and start tracing over my pattern. So I could trace over where I want my frames and complete the design that way. And this would just be the pattern. So I have this already prepared. To kind of show you how this works, I would go and select this current wall, select edit, and now you notice I have a pattern icon here. So I can adjust where my pattern begins and ends. So I'm just going to start stretching these edges. And then click apply. And it's automatically going to fill in the whole wall. And you'll notice now I can go back into the settings, and here's my scheme, and I can start editing my pattern. So I can start creating opening where I want openings. And it automatically updates. So let's take a look in 3D now. So here's my pattern. If I want to start editing it a little bit and change where the pattern begins and ends, I can do that going to the settings. So I can adjust the column and rows to best division. So I rearrange and unitize everything. And you'll notice it automatically is going to wrap the corner. So now I can go to Twinmotion if I want to go visualize this. It'll take a few seconds. And here's my leafy pattern building. So you can also do all kinds of building assembling, rain screens, or stone tiles. You can also do frame only facade ornaments such as this. The new current wall tool also has special corner, so you can start editing it pretty easily. So you'll notice that we have this block frame corner. So if I add a new corner, and it's automatically going to adjust to the new boundary shape that I just created. And we also have a panelized corner system. So if I go into edit mode here, I can go and change this type of corner. There's a frame type. I can do blocks, turn off the cap if I want to, or change it to an insulated panel. So if you want to get really detailed, you can do that. You have custom profiles you can apply, so you can really visualize what's going on. Another thing you can do is apply stickers to the screen wall. So if you go into the settings here, you'll notice under the panel options, you'll have a silhouette tab here. And then if you check the checkbox here, you can select different kind of birds or a custom one. So here I have a fritted pattern applied to it. So if I click OK, it's going to apply the pattern automatically. If you want, you can do letters to show company logos. And if I want to synchronize with Twinmotion, I just click synchronize up here. So here's the example. So I can just zoom in here and look at the glass. I have to select it and adjust the settings to make sure it's a two-sided surface so you can see it from the inside and the outside. If you want to start playing around with some different pattern, you can do that here by selecting different kind of stickers. So you can put and start looking at different options pretty quickly. So the current wall tool is pretty smart because any type of window shapes that you want, you'll be able to start creating them. So here I can start adding window type. So I have a polygonal window that I can start applying either globally to this, or I can eventually go into my edit mode and start selecting different areas where I want a window. So I can go here and change my panel to a window, and then I can go and change the material, and change it to top hung. And what I can do now is start making some other frames to make this window bigger. So I'm just gonna select these now and just remove them. You'll notice it's automatically gonna fill in. And then if I want, I can change the orientation of this to swing outside. So I click outside, and then I can open the angle of the window. So pretty easy to do, and a lot of different options to do a lot of different things. So we also have a parametric profile editor, which is really awesome and flexible. What you'll notice is that before you have parametric and standard shapes you can do. Every time you had to make a different kind of shape, you had to make a different kind of profile. Now, if you have a different dimensions that you need, you can quickly change it on the fly, either in 2D or 3D or elevation. So if you need to make a skin different shape, you can do that pretty quickly. Here's another example of different benches that have profile modifiers. So I can quickly change the shape of the bench, get rid of the back, or maybe reverse it, change its side. So it's pretty easy to do. Here's another example. So here I have a base cabinet profile. So if I draw this, you'll notice that it's pretty easy to do. I can select it, and now I see my modifiers in blue. I can open the settings and quickly adjust some of these. So if I want to change the overhang to something different, I can do that. Maybe it's 1 inch. The thickness is 3 inches. Maybe the toe depth is also 3 inches. And toe height's 4. So you can start changing these numbers and values pretty quickly, and you can also schedule these. So if I click OK, it's automatically going to update. And if I open this complex profile, you'll notice that I have a lot of modifiers applied here just to address these settings. If you have a wall partition, you can do the same thing. You can start applying modifiers to different components, such as gypsum height, tile height, or thickness of different materials or members, depending on the shape. So for instance, I could change the tiling height to something higher here, and it'll automatically update. So I have the whole site prepared for the Twinmotion export. So these are basically all the examples I just showed that we have done in the demo files. And I added another detailed model here. So we'll just start exporting to Twinmotion. It'll take a couple minutes. And now let me hand it over to Martin, Twinmotion Product Manager.
Thank you, Vincent. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for this quick presentation of ARCHICAD and Twinmotion. My name is Martin, I'm Twinmotion Product Manager, and I'm here to present you Twinmotion features in a bit more details. So first, I'm picking up the project where Vincent left it, and I will start to drag some materials. So let me just open the materials folder inside the library, ground, man-made, and just drag, for example, some asphalt on my road. Can drag some concrete on the sidewalk, and we can also change the material of the project itself. So let me just open the concrete folder and drag, for example, this one. Down here I have a few options. You can start to change the scale of my material or the reflection of it. Next thing that I want to work on is this road. Right now it's just a heavy, flat, gray area. Let me just add some contrast to it. To do that, in the furniture section, decals, we have some objects just to enhance the quality, the realism of the road. So I can start to drag some asphalt patch like this, some road damage, for example. As you may have noticed at the beginning, we also have some road marking. And actually, I've already set up a folder with a few more decals. So let me just unhide this folder here. Now that my roads are done, maybe it's time to add some animation. So as you can see here, we already have a few characters inside the project that has been automatically replaced during the synchronization with ARCHICAD. It's completely automatic. But you can of course add more characters. Here I will enter the character folder inside Twinmotion library, human, and here we have a complete library of 3D animated characters. Can drag any of the characters inside my project, can change the rotation, I can change the color of their clothing, I can change the pose, maybe he's in idle state, maybe he's lying on the ground, maybe he's even dancing. I can even switch to the special category and check if my project is PRM ready. Sorry. By drag and dropping one character at a time like this, it could be time consuming. This is why we also have a group folder. If I select this group of 3 characters, at each time I will click in the viewport, Twinmotion will randomly select 3 characters from the whole library, so you won't see any repetition. To add characters even more quickly, we also have created what we call our path system. I will open up the urban dock path and I will enter the character path. I will simply select my pen and I will create a spline. Once I release my tool, people will automatically start spawning and walking on my path. It's that simple to create an animation with Twinmotion. When we created Twinmotion, our main goal was to create a simple tool with a really friendly user UI. So this UI consists of three major panels. The first one on the left, it's the library that is native of the software, where you will find materials, vegetation, furniture, characters, also the user library that allow you to import your own objects, create your own materials and save them directly inside Twinmotion library so you can use them for every future project. At the bottom of the library we have what we call the dock. The dock is basically where you find all the options, the tools and the settings. For example, here I've selected back my character path and I have all the options regarding this specific path. Let me just come a bit closer. As you can see here, for example, we can change the width of the path or even the density of people on it. Finally, the third most important panel is the one on the right, is what we call the scene graph, the scene manager. This is where you have all the hierarchy of your project. It's basically a layer system that you can turn on and off. You can create folder, reorganize your project. And here I've already set up a folder with a few more people. So let me just again unhide this folder. And I've used the same path system to create this animation with all those cars driving around. Next thing I want to talk about is the vegetation. To add some vegetation, I will just open back the library, come to the vegetation folder, trees, and I can start to drag some tree simply from the library to the viewport. I can change the rotation, the size, but because it's in the tree folder, it's automatically randomized. We can also mass plant vegetation. To do that, I will open the Nature dock, vegetation. Here I have a few different plants that I can brush onto my project. I can of course add more plants in here. And I can just select those two trees, for example, and just start to paint them directly on my project. We can even paint some grass. Let's just come inside and see how it looks. Can also paint some puppies if I want. Same as I did with the other part, let me just open back my scene graph and unhide my vegetation folder. Next thing that I want to talk about is our ecosystem. So let me just close this, come back in my breadcrumb in the nature dock and enter the weather. So here it's really simple. We have two sliders. The first one, as you may have noticed by the icons, control the cloud coverage. So if I start to drag this one here, clouds will appear. Let me actually focus more on the sky. So yeah, cloud will appear and at some point it will rain, which affects automatically all the material of the project. There is nothing to be done for that. The second slider, let me just come after the rain when the puddles start to dry. The second slider here is controlling the season. So as you can see in the trees, we start at the summer. If we start to move this slider, we will quickly switch to the fall. In fall, all the trees turn yellow and red. Leaves start to fall from the trees, as you can see here. And if I keep move this slider, we'll switch to the winter. And now if I again add some more clouds, it won't rain anymore because we are in winter, it will snow. So now let's switch inside the project. First thing that I want to do is, it's a bit dark. So let me just come back in the nature dock and enter now the lighting dock. So here we have lots of options concerning the lighting. So now I just want to raise a bit the global illumination. At any moment I can also change the time of day. So here we can visualize the project at different lighting conditions. Let's just now, for example, again, just check again the material and change the material on the floor over here. So I open up the materials folder, concrete, just for example drag this polished concrete on my floor. It looks a bit better with some more reflective materials. I can also, actually I've already set up a folder with a few more items. So for example, let's just come here and again unhide this folder. If I want, I can even add some more light. I can open up the light folder and drag, for example, this EOS light over here. Change the attenuation radius and the intensity of my light, or even the color. At any moment in Twinmotion, we can also switch to what we call the beam motion mode. It's a full screen viewer where you can enable the physics. That means that I am currently walking on the ground, and it's just an immersive way, an interactive way to navigate through your project. So for example, I can go toward my stairs and actually climb those stairs. So yeah, it's really a way just to put yourself at the height of a human being, navigate around the project, feel what the future user of the project will feel when they will be immersed inside their project. At the end, with Twinmotion, we can export 4 different types of media. Let me just come outside to show you that. The first media we can export is really simple, it's the image. To create an image, it's really simple. You just click on the big plus button. This creates a new point of view, a new image. You can of course change the camera position. You can change a few things like enable the perspective correction, change the FOV of your camera. Tons of different options, but at the end, to export an image, you just go to the export dock, select the image we just created together, click on start export. I will just send this to my desktop. So by default, it exports the image in 2K resolution, but with Twinmotion we can go up to 9K. And as you can see, it just took me a few seconds to render. And here I have my image generated. Next, we can create panorama. So a panorama is a 360 image, and we can also send them to our online platform called TwinLinker, where you can create a virtual visit of your project. So basically you are just chaining panorama together, and you basically create your visit, your virtual visit that you can share on any platform. So here I've already set up this virtual visit for this specific project. As you can see, it's just a basic 360 image. I can switch from one panorama to another. And what is great and what is important with this feature is that it doesn't require a high-end computer. You can just watch this virtual visit on your smartphone or your tablet. So when you are going to see your client, you just come with your iPad and you just present your project using this virtual visit. After that, we can create a video. To create a video, it's as simple as the image. You click on the plus button here. This will create a first clip with a first keyframe. This is the starting point of your video. Now you basically just move your camera around. You click on the small plus here. This will create a second point of view, a second keyframe. And Twinmotion has automatically created the animation between the first one and the last one. So if I select my first image and click on play, as you can see, it's automatically moving. Finally, the last media we can export is what we call the BeamMotion. The BeamMotion is a standalone .exe file, so it doesn't require Twinmotion, so it's basically a digital model of your project that you can share with anyone, so you can just go in full screen. It has the dedicated UI, it doesn't have the editing UI of Twinmotion. It has this simple UI where you can just have access to a few things like changing the time of day, changing the months to make sun study, changing the seasons, the weather, calling different camera point of view and playing them. So it's just a way to share the project with your clients. And also what is most important with Twinmotion is that at any time we can just also switch to virtual reality. So here I don't have any headset plugged in, but as you can see, it's just a basic shortcut F10 to switch to VR. So going from ARCHICAD to Twinmotion is done in 1-2 clicks, and then from Twinmotion switching to virtual reality is done in only 1 click. So it's really a game changer for small and medium architecture firm to have the possibility to experience virtual reality. Before that, we had to have dedicated people that know gaming technology, gaming engine, and in small and medium architecture firm, nobody has those type of skills. So now it's done in only 1 click. And here we just released an article regarding virtual reality, so you can go to twinmotion.com and check this article. It explains you how virtual reality works in Twinmotion. It shows you the UI of this VR menu. In this VR experience, you can change a few things. For example, you can change the weather, the seasons, the months, the time of day. We can call also different media like image, panorama. You can even change phase. If you have create a construction step of your project, you can switch phase and visualize that. You can even change the materials directly immersed in virtual reality. And here we also have a few videos showing you basically how our VR menu works. So here I've just entered the weather menu and I can change, as I told you, the time of day. We can change the months, the weather or the seasons. It's just one of the many ways to visualize your project with Twinmotion. So here, as I told you, you can even change the material immersed in your project. I think that's it for my part. I hope you like this quick presentation of Twinmotion, and now if you have some questions, we'll take time to answer all of them.
Thank you, Martin. This was awesome. So now we are entering our question and answer part, and our moderator, Nick, will start looking over the questions, and we have also a quick video that I'll start playing while we address these questions.